Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. End of October, end of another pens in use month. Here's the pens that I started the month with, and one here that I brought in partway through the month. Join me now down on the table. We'll rank the 6 pens I started with, and then I'll give you my thoughts on that final pen that I brought in. Welcome down to the table. So how did I get on this month? The pens I started with, there was a Jinhao 992 with Diamine Velvet Emerald, Kaweco Sport with a broad nib, Diamine Merry and Bright, another Kaweco Sport, this time with a 1.1 nib, and that had Diamine Olive Swirl. We had the Pilot Prera with Diamine Tranquility, the Pilot E95S with Diamine Cinnabon, and we finished up the month there with the Sailor ProGear Slim with Diamine Garland. So how do I rank this month's pens? So position number 6, I decided to give that to the Jinhao 992. Yes, it's the cheapest of the lot. It's exceptional value. I mean, $2.22. You can't go wrong with these pens. They're cartridge converters. This one's empty. You can see I haven't really cleaned it out yet. Why have I marked this down at number 6 with the exceptional value? To be honest, it's all down to the thinness. It feels very thin. It feels very light. Yes, I posted it. It's not too bad posted. The nib writes really nice. But when I'm comparing it with the other pens and how I felt with those this month, this one jumped out at me as being position number 6. So that's the Jinhao 992. At position number 5, again, having to think about this and how it compares to the other pens. This is what I've done during this month, comparing against each other. I've decided to give, I'm going to put this way around, position number 5 to the green Kaweco Sport with the broad nib. This had that Diamine Merry and Bright ink. I like the Sports. I think they're a brilliant model. When you post it, they're very nice. The section still feels thin, but nowhere near as thin as it felt with that Jinhao 992. This one here, we've got a Kaweco converter. Actually, it lasted quite well, although it doesn't hold a lot of ink, but it did see me through most of the month. It's comfortable in the hand. It goes nice and small, so it's easy to drop into a pocket. I like the shape. I like this octagonal type shape, so it feels quite nice when I'm holding it. I can actually feel it rolling around in my hand. I also like the fact it doesn't have a clip because it does go in my pocket. But as I say, I'm comparing against all the others. So I'm going to give this position number 5. So that's the Kaweco Sport. Just going to move the page up ever so slightly. There we are. Let's get them top 2 off. Position number 4. You'd think, because it was number 5 for the green one, that number 4 would be the white one, but it's not. Position 4, I'm giving to the Pilot Prera. I've eyedropped this. First time I've eyedropped it. It's working really well, apart from here. You see all that shimmer there that's collected. So that's all dropped out. That's not had the opportunity to get into suspension. So I don't see as much shimmer when I'm writing, which is a shame because it does look nice when you see it. That's part of the reason I've marked it down. Yes, I've eyedropped it. I could have used a converter. The cap it pulls off. I don't like that. In my pocket, I just feel that's too easy for me to accidentally trigger it and pull it off and then have this lovely purple ink right the way through my trousers. It's still nice. It's a nice shape. It's a nice size. In the cap, there is a little liner. Not sure if you can see that on the camera, but that does help to keep that nib nice and wet. In the hand, it's nice. It feels very similar to what I was getting with the width of the Sport, maybe even a little bit wider again. And I say it posts quite nicely. Main reason for marking it down, I say, is this here. That's because I've eyedropped it, and the cap. So this comes in at position number 4. So that's the Pilot Prera. Position number 3. That does go to that white Kaweco Sport. This is a transparent white. Again, this is one I've eyedroppered, so you can actually see here the ink that's in it. Hopefully, if I hold that up, you can see there's an air bubble floating through that ink. This holds the ink really, really well. I had no issues with it leaking or anything like that. It's comfortable in the hand. It's the same really as that green one, except it's in white. The nib on here, this is a 1.1 stub nib. Love this nib, writes really, really well. Obviously, I'm not going to take the body off. The ink, it's not too bad. I like the base colour. It's this beautiful, like, it says it's olive swirl. It's like a beautiful olivey type colour. But I never see any of that chameleon, any of that shimmer coming through. Not just in this pen, but in every pen I've had it in. So the ink, yeah, it's all right, but not one I would jump out and buy if I wanted a shimmer ink. But for my ranking purposes, because of that nib mainly, this comes in at position number 3. So that's the Kaweco Sport in white. Just move the page up. So we've got 2 pens left. Which one do you think I've picked for position number 2? Do you think it's the Pilot E95S or do you think it's that Sailor ProGear Slim? So position number 2 goes to the Sailor ProGear Slim. I love this pen. It's beautiful, lovely material. Yeah, you can see the stars. It's called blue-green nebula. So you've got that blue-green, that tealy colour there. Then you've got the stars, that little silver flecks there shining away. I can see the cartridge converter. Here we are. There's the converter. It's another one that's out of ink. Haven't cleaned it yet. It's a shame that it's metal fittings because with this material, I think this would be beautiful if it was eyedroppered. I think that would have been really nice. Got here a beautiful, gorgeous 14 karat gold nib. Got to be honest, one of my favourite nibs. Writes beautiful, got a gorgeous tactileness. The pen, when I'm posting it, which is what I have to do with all these pens we're looking at today, it's quite nice. The section, again, feels a little bit on the thin side. Doesn't feel too back heavy, and it writes a joy. And you'd be wondering then, well, why is that position number 2? I'll talk about that obviously when we get to the next pen. So position number 2 goes to the Sailor ProGear Slim. That means by default, because there's only 1 pen left, the winner has got to be the Pilot E95S. I love this pen. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It's 215 Aussie dollars as opposed to the 355 that I paid for a Sailor ProGear Slim. That's a big difference. That's one of the reasons why this has been mapped as number 1. Cost-wise, it's more value for money. If I unscrew the body, there's only a little body on this. Here you can see what I use is actually a cartridge that I refill. Again, it's another one out of ink. Most of the pens this month are out of ink. Let's put that back on. Unposted, it is very small. It's usable for a couple of words. But once you post it, you get a beautiful, what I would call a standard size pen. I'll just twist that a little bit. I like to try and get the nib and the clip here lined up. It's a 14 karat gold nib. Look at that, it's embedded. I think the pen just looks elegant. The ProGear Slim looks interesting, but this looks elegant. In the hand, it's quite nice. The section feels really nice to me. It's not too wide, it's not too thin. It's just about creeping into that comfortable point for me. I've quite enjoyed this ink as well, this Cinnabon. You get a really strong hint of cinnamon when you're writing with it. It goes away once it's dried. And it dries really quickly, so it's been brilliant for taking notes. It's another pen. I'm quite happy. I can pop this lid on. I'll pop the cap on. Although it doesn't twist on, it's so long, I don't have to worry about accidentally pulling it off in my trousers. And it just drops in my pocket very, very easily. So I've decided, when I looked at everything, that this comes in at position number 1. So that's the Pilot E95S. Just going to turn the page and I'll show you the pen that I brought in once the Jinhao 992 ran out. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. Would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. My bonus pen for the month, only the one this month. All the rest didn't run out until the last few days of the month, so I didn't bother replacing them. But the Jinhao 992 ran out about halfway through, so I thought, let's fetch in a Jinhao 82. This is in what they call green. To me, it's more like a blue, but I suppose that's down to how you perceive colours. Very nice pen. Just going to fetch it in. Same shape. It's very heavily inspired by that Sailor ProGear Slim. Cap screws off. Got a cartridge converter here. We've got plenty of ink in this. Let me just give that a flick. There we go. So you can see the ink. Nice blue ink. You can hopefully see that. Because it's similar to that ProGear Slim, in the hand, very, very comfortable. Very nice. Does feel, I'd say not too thin, but just getting there towards the right spot. It posts quite nicely. Steel nib. So it's a Chinese steel nib. But look at the price, $6. For that Sailor ProGear Slim, $355. $6. Big, big difference. It writes very nicely. I love writing with this. I love this ink, Diamine Bliss. I think it's really nice. It goes, I think, quite well with the colour of the body. And when you see the body up against it, you can actually see some green coming through. Gorgeous pen, and $6. Really worth getting if you don't already have some. So that's a Jinhao 82. So let's fetch them all back in for one more look. My pens for last month. Position number 6. The Jinhao 992. Number 5, Kaweco Sport in green. Number 4, Pilot Prera. Number 3, Kaweco Sport in transparent white. Number 2, the Sailor ProGear Slim. And then coming in as the winning pen for the month, the Pilot E95S. And my bonus pen, that was the Jinhao 82. And if you're interested, the pen I've been using to mark my scores, that was a Retro 51 Tornado. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What pens have you been using this month? Have you ranked them like I have? What do you think of your ranking? How do you rank them? How would you choose which one would be your favourite pen of the month? Please drop any comments down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.